After this brutal winter, your backyard probably looks like the set of a disaster movie. Your front yard may seem like a giant troll stomped on everything. Have no fear, we have two professionals who know what to do. They may even share some secrets of how to get the exterior of your property back to the paradise it was before. Let's meet our guest, Kevin Van Sessen, who is the president of Blade Cutters Landscaping, and Adam Suttinger, who is the president of Adams Landscaping. I want to welcome two hardworking guys to the show.
Thank you.
Did I get your name right?
You got it.
All right.
Close enough.
All I got to remember really is Adam.
Yes.
Right? Because
it's close enough.
You got your name
right
there. Now, I was going to say, you guys are pretty creative, but you know, Adams Landscaping is pretty simple, isn't it?
Everybody knows who I am.
Okay.
Good point.
But you got blade cutters.
Yes, sir.
So it just sounds like that you guys are cutting grass.
Yes, it does.
But you got landscaping.
It's evolved over time. Yes.
Okay.
Definitely.
So if I got you both on the show here, I got to see your hands. Now, are your hands really dirty or what?
No.
Not too dirty.
Hey, what's the story? I thought you guys are in landscaping and lawn care. What's the story?
Times have changed. Definitely.
Somebody's got to run the company.
So somebody's got to run the company.
That's
so,
right.
So what does that mean? You don't get your hands dirty very much, Kevin?
Not really. No. There's times I'm out there playing around in the salt, snow, and things of that nature, or in the backyard, but it's too hard anymore. Yeah.
I bet it wasn't that way when you first started.
No, not at all. It started out as you know, on a lawnmower, as most have,
Yep.
with a truck, and I think Adam can agree with that. And you know, a truck, lawnmower, and a trailer. And we kicked off that way as entrepreneurs, maybe with different ideas in the future. And this is where we're at now. So
is that the way you started too?
I pretty much was pulling a lawnmower behind my bicycle. At that time, I wasn't able to drive, so
Really?
been doing it a long time.
So it kind of, you had one bicycle?
Yep.
That was pretty much it?
Yep.
How old were you?
14 years old.
14, you started this. So how old are you now?
36.
So you've been at this for, do the math, right?
Been doing it a
20-some
while.
years.
Been doing it a while.
Wow. And how about you? How old were you when you started
I was
doing
19.
this? 18?
19, yeah.
19.
Yep. Started 19. I'm 37.
By that point, you had a car.
I did.
Or
yeah.
a truck.
No, yeah. I started with a Chevy S10.
So you didn't have to have the bicycle thing.
No, not at that time.
But it's pretty much mowers?
Yeah, that was it primarily. I went out and picked up a mower with my first credit card and a trailer, and had my dad help me build this trailer, and that was how we started.
So at what point did your businesses kind of morph into the landscaping side? Because it sounds like you were really kind of doing lawn care and maintenance.
Kind of started off from the bat. You know, you've got a customer that wants to cut the grass, and now they want you to plant a tree and build them a little retaining wall or a garden wall or things like that. So it just kind of evolved in more of the construction end of it than the maintenance end for me. I know Kevin still is doing a lot of maintenance.
Yeah, he's completely away from the service side of stuff. A third of our business is service. So I should say he still does some snow removal, but you know, fertilization, lawn service, and things of that nature, he does not do that, and we do.
So that's why you're able to sit in the same room and you're really not competitors.
We've bid against each other in certain jobs, and we're just friends.
Day.
I mean, there's a lot of us now that have come together, and you know, when you get to a certain level, I guess your competition is your friends, and you guys better be able to communicate because you're doing some large projects, and sometimes you work on them together.
Do you refer stuff back and forth to each other?
All the time.
Okay.
Yep.
So you're still doing a lot of maintenance. You're almost all landscaping right now.
Correct.
So how big's your company now, by employees or jobs, or how do you measure that?
We've got 3 install crews basically going out every day, sometimes a 4th depending on how busy we are. But we also do demolition work, some excavating and things like that.
Okay.
Also,
demolition, what's?
Tearing down buildings, structures, garages,
Okay.
Commercial buildings.
Like a lot of good entrepreneurs, you got to
be a barn or
be diversified.
Oh yeah, yep.
Okay.
Yep.
How big's your crews?
We've got 2 install crews, 1 detail crew, and then 2 lawn crews, and 2 fertilization crews.
Okay. That's pretty much your high season now. So what do you guys do in the winter? I'm assuming you guys are laying back, drinking beer.
This winter
doing
we plowed a lot
nothing,
of
right?
snow. We plowed a lot of snow this winter.
Yeah.
Okay. You're doing the snow plowing too?
Yes, sir.
This was a good year for snow plowing,
Yes,
wasn't it?
very
Snow
good.
removal,
Yes.
period.
Yes.
Compared to the other years, which were nearly disasters.
Yeah, last few have been a little tight.
Yeah. We're about the only people in Northwest Indiana that like snow, so welcome it on. Everybody else is hating it and doesn't want to see it anymore, but we like it.
You know, I hear the stories about people doing snow removal. They say, well, you know, I made enough money this year to pay for my equipment. I heard the story this year that you've made enough money to have to replace stuff because you've worn things out.
We've worn a lot of things out, yeah.
Yeah.
So
big repair bills and upgrading equipment and new machines, and it's part of the game.
So were your customers griping a lot about that? got this winter?
Yeah, somewhere. I mean, it was. I mean, it's just gray skies, and it was a heavy, cold snow. A lot of. We did get some powdery snow too, but I mean, it was thick. So we're beating up equipment, and then when it's that cold too, I mean, really, we're destroying some metal. I mean, we went through some plows and went through some transmissions. So yeah.
So I want to ask you guys, because everybody knows we had this brutal winter, and now we're finally at spring. Everybody's smiling a little bit more in spring.
Sure.
So how tough was this winter on everybody's yards and lawn and trees and shrubs and everything? How
Beats
bad?
them up pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got a lot of calls the last few weeks of my lawn looks horrible, it's beat down, it's trees that are dead, evergreens that don't look good. It definitely plays an effect of how we start running things here in the spring. So
yeah, the cleanups are going to be they're big this year. They're twice the size of have they been in the past. Normally, we go to somebody's house and clean up the sticks and debris and maybe rake out the yard. And this year, we're planning. I've seen it already. It's double the time, possibly.
My grass looks like it's like a quilt. It's flat.
Yeah,
I've never
yeah.
seen it that flat.
beat it down.
It's a snowpack. Yep, there's quite a bit of snowpack out there.
And the heavy snow too.
Yeah, and it'll pop back. That's going to come back. We've talked with Purdue a few different times. I think all of us landscapers in our association have, and Purdue's kind of eased that edge by stating that a lot of that's not going to take place over time. It'll bounce back, so it shouldn't be a problem.
So Purdue's a good partner in a lot of this stuff?
Definitely.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So tell me at this point, and I know we got a few pictures of maybe some of the projects you guys are working on. I think we've got a couple things, Adam, for, I think I saw a picture in there of a pool.
Sure.
How much water kinds of things do you have come up to do?
That patio there is actually a permeable brick paver patio where the water infiltrate through the cracks of the brick and go into a stone bed underneath the ground and be drained out through drain tiles, things like that, where a lot of people have a flat brick patio or concrete where they have to put channel drains, drain tiles. It's more eco-friendly. Everybody anymore is into eco-friendly water reclamation. It's just a better way of doing things. It's kind of a new system that we've been getting into the last few years.
Now I saw in some of your stuff there was like a fireplace or something in one of them.
Sure.
That was your house?
Yeah, sure.
So you must be doing well, I guess, in the business. Is that what you're trying to say?
It's a nice little focal point. We bring people by there so they can look at it and then
Well, that's true.
sell some jobs.
That begins to kind of be a little demo. But,
Sure.
Well, that's an outdoor fireplace
Yes,
and
sir.
patio?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
How long did it take a project like that? How long does it take you to build something like that?
I think that's about 2,000 square feet roughly with that and the pergola and whatnot. It was probably, if we were to do it, we kind of broke it up because it was my house, squeezing other jobs, and it'd probably be about 3 weeks, something of that nature.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of nice to have a job where you can go.
Yeah, that's the difference.
Okay,
Bounce around a little bit.
Slide the crew over. So tell me, we've seen some pictures of some things that they're really, really kind of cool, but you each got to have a really good disaster story when everything went wrong, or oh my gosh, this thing, I mean, it caved in. I mean, you each got a story like that? Like, man,
We've
this
had
is my worst
had
nightmare.
some disaster days this winter with snow removal.
Yeah.
Trucks breaking down, transmissions going out.
Accidents, yeah.
Accidents, things like that. It's it's always a chess game, moving the pieces around, making it all work.
Yeah, I don't know if there's been like a true disaster day where like something just, there's a lot of logistics and planning into a project of that size especially, and engineering specs too. You don't really have kind of a disaster in that aspect. We have disaster days where equipment breaks down over and over again or somebody didn't show up for work, just like most employers do, but I can't think of a devastating type of accident or situation in a landscaping project.
And that's what I wasn't really looking for, but that's
Right.
interesting to say that our toughest days is that materials don't show up, guys don't show up.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
starts
That's right.
pouring down rain, the truck
happens.
breaks. I mean, just you like seriously.
huge.
Weather's
Yeah.
a huge part of our business. Yeah,
Yes.
rain, hot, dry, it all plays an effect to what we do.
Snow, all of it.
So, let's talk about people a little bit, because I often do a lot of shows about economics and the workforce and so forth. Hard to find good people to do this kind of work?
Yes.
So,
Yes.
So that's a quick answer. So
Yeah, I think we're all struggling right now. We've been in communication with a couple of landscaping companies today even about trying to get guys, and it's tough.
So what are you looking for a really good employee working for you does what?
Has a driver's license?
That's one of the biggest problems right off the bat is the insurance companies.
The insurance companies, yeah.
Difficult with who can drive your vehicles. So you almost have to have a perfect driver's license, and that's a big challenge in our business.
Yeah,
it's construction trade. You know, it really is. So you get a lot of guys that are out there, and it's just hard to find quality employees that just want to put in a good week's worth of work and have a driver's license. You know?
So, driver's license, hard worker, shows up every day.
The basics,
it's really important.
It's really the basics, and unfortunately, I don't know if it's just the area or the country, but the accountability levels just kind of dropped a little bit when it comes to as an entrepreneur or as a business owner looking for people.
Yeah. So you have openings right now?
Yes, sir.
Definitely.
You know, this is what's amazing to me, and we talk about this on almost every show about, everybody's like, there's no jobs out there, and every employer I talk to practically, I've got jobs.
Yeah.
It's
hard to find good people.
Finding the right people for this. Yeah. Do you have a good core crew at this point? I mean,
yes. I've got some guys that have been with me for 8 or 10 years now that, still plugging along every year and come back every spring and keep going.
I would think part of your requirement would be see if a guy could ride a bicycle and if they could pull a mower at the same time.
Sure.
Wouldn't that be a good qualification?
It's a very difficult trade. It's not for everybody. It's very hard work.
It's backbreaking. I mean,
it's backbreaking.
They're long hours, especially it's feast or famine to some degree. So we get our spring 4 or 5 months here where there's a lot of hours in a week, and then it's being able to control that. So
I bet their hands aren't as clean as yours.
No,
probably not.
Right.
No.
So you guys are doing the sales stuff. Is most of what you doing more on the sales side, or does it more feel like just administration of running the business?
It's everything. It's sales. I'm out sales and estimating. I have another guy that works for me that does sales and designing. It's logistics, running the business, ordering materials, getting the guys out every morning, make sure they know what they need to do, make sure they're doing a good job on the thing, deal with the customers. It's the whole logistics of running a business.
Yeah.
Same way for you.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, we've got 4 people in our office that are constantly going in circles, and some are dealing with lawn, fertilization, again, logistics for scheduling with the trucks. And then I'm doing a lot of design and sales for the most part. Another person doing designs too, but it's primarily me with the designs and sales.
So let's talk about customers a little bit. I'm sure you have customers that just are wonderful to deal with, but what's your picture of a nightmare customer? Each of you probably had somebody's picture come up in your mind. I won't ask you to share a name or a face or anything.
At my end of the business, in the construction end, 99.5% of the time at the end of the job, customers are willing to give me a hug and kiss. We have the beautiful yard. There's something to look at.
Did it ever get you in trouble?
No.
With the husband or anything?
No. On the maintenance end of it, I'm sure Kevin's got some more stories with, you have to please somebody every week, cutting the grass or fertilizer lawn. It's a little more difficult on that end of it, and it's one of the reasons I've kind of steered away from the maintenance. It's just a little easier to make people happy.
So what makes a really good customer then? I mean, what's helpful? Because as the audience listens to this, it's like, how to be a good customer. I think sometimes we need to teach people that.
Really, for me, on the construction end of it, a customer knows what they're looking for.
Okay.
They have a budget in mind. They know what they're looking for. We're definitely there to help them plan it, bring it to them. But we need to know a budget.
Tell me what you want.
Know what they
Tell
want.
me what you're willing to spend.
Yeah, definitely. It's very hard for us. Most people aren't willing to give us a budget when we're going to design a project.
Right.
We're designing something that, hey, maybe this is a $100,000 job. Give them a drawing, they look and say, man, I really want to spend $20,000. Well, you told us that up front, we could design something for $20,000.
And that's pretty frustrating too.
It's very frustrating. It's time spent with a designer that's expensive, and it saves just on the going back and forth redesigning process of it to have a budget and have some ideas what they're looking for.
What makes a good customer for you?
Respect. I mean, same concepts for the most part. And on the service end, it's just do your homework and understand. Even if you own buildings in Maryville or Crown Point, wherever you might be, know what you're getting into. And then there's got to be that little bit of loyalty too. It's we're not going to be the lowest. We're not going to be the highest. We want to be that company in there that can help you out. And I want you to respect me, and we'll respect you, and we work together on it. But there's going to be issues down the road, and on the service end, we've got to be able to communicate.
I think it's a good piece of advice about the respect. We need to respect everybody, but I know sometimes people, you guys are just
landscapers.
We're
just a landscaper.
You're just moving dirt, so you can't be that smart or that, so I'm going to treat you not very nice, right?
Yeah. I think at our level now, it's changed, but that just takes time, It's any business over time. So 16 years in, people start seeing the name.
So what do people need to be doing right now with their yards and so forth after this brutal winter? What do people need to be doing?
Rake it up, get some of that dead stuff out of the grass. Start cleaning it up. Let the air get back underneath to the turf roots. Basically, that's to help with the grass itself. I mean, just our preventative stuff in the spring. The preventative maintenance really is the best way to go to get yourself kicked off. Crabgrass starter fertilizer right now, so it gives a good start if you've got that.
What do you see people doing wrong when you go in, and you're looking over their property, and what are some of the most common mistakes people are doing?
Boy, fertilizer's a big one. Trying to fertilize it themselves and burn up their lawn.
So over fertilizer.
Sure.
Or wrong product and not
Wrong
understanding
products,
stuff.
not understanding what kind of products they're putting down and how the rates to put them down.
There's a
Big
lot out
problem.
there too, and that's why it gets confusing for people. You can go get 10 different types over at Home Depot or Menards or somewhere, and it's not always the best product. Right. No matter if it's got somebody's name on it or not, sometimes it's not always the best.
So I was actually listening to NPR as I was driving over here, and somebody was talking about mulching around, not mulching, but putting bark mulch or whatever around trees.
Sure.
It's not a good idea, or that is a good idea. Or
I haven't heard one way or
they were calling something
another.
about volcano. Or?
Well, volcano is if
sure.
you mulch up too high on the bark of the tree.
Oh,
it actually does suffocate the bark of the mulch around the tree. So you need to I call it a bird's nest. When I tell my guys to put mulch on, make it a bird nest where it crowns up, dips down so there's not so much bark buildup on the top of the tree.
Oh,
You can kind of route out the bottom.
Sure.
So
I wonder what they were talking about. So that's really still okay to kind of
yeah.
do around
It holds moisture. I mean, bark dust or mulch will hold moisture, so that does help.
It seems like our climate is changing. I believe that we're having climate change, so we'll get to a bit debate about that. But we've sure seen some incredible winds, some incredible rains the past 5-10 years. How is that changing what you're having to do in people's properties?
Sure. Well, it definitely makes a difference of what type of trees we're putting in, what type of grass you're planting.
Is that
water.
changing? You're doing different kinds of trees now?
Definitely.
Sure.
What kind of trees are you putting in now that you didn't used to or quit using or something?
Like the pears, for instance, they've altered some of the pears. So the crotch on the pear is actually a wider variety now, so it can withstand some of the wind.
Sure.
They've got away from some of that. Different crab apples that are out there as well. They've got away from certain tree styles that were okay 10, 15 years ago.
Because the wind takes them out.
And the garden centers, don't want to pay for to rehab, put them back in again. Basically, the warranty factor on some of that stuff. So there's some of that going on, and I think it's been making everything extremely hard. We're getting extreme weathers more so than it's erratic weather, and so by that happening, we've got these snowstorms like we're getting in these polar vortexes, and then the winds, and these longer drought periods. I mean, 10 years ago when we were doing this stuff, we'd get rain, and then you'd be able to cut the grass, and then it'd rain again. Now it's raining for a week. It's like, okay.
Yeah, and so what are you having to change with some of the landscaping, particularly around drainage? I've seen people now stop using gutters in their houses, where they're putting rock down and trying to figure out ways to flow the water. I mean, are you seeing a lot more of those kind of jobs?
Well, we do a lot of gutter pop-up emitters where we're trying to bring the water away from the house. Again, like I said about the permeable paver patios, things like that. Just more stone underneath gutters, things like that. Just
swales.
Holding
some swales out. If you got far enough, methods of watershed can get pushed away in some way, shape, or form. We're trying to do that as well when we contour the land.
So there's a lot more of that going on than there used to be, because people used to not worry about any of that stuff, right?
Right.
But now you really have to.
There's a lot on the construction end of it too, with the government, stormwater issues. The government, the towns, the city planners, stormwater commissions, they're doing a lot more with erosion control blankets, straw wattles, and the storm sewers. That's a big end of it. Things that we're going into where we didn't see 10 years ago.
How about the environment, the organic kinds of things? Are you seeing some changes in what people want to do, stuff that's more natural and?
Yeah, native species are getting to be pretty hot again. A lot of people are asking for some of those or some natural areas. I know we've had some issues on the dangerous side with the funguses with the crab apples. I know Adam's gone through a couple different types of trees that have come up where funguses have popped up, and they've been spraying for those that weren't around 10 years ago. I think we're witnessing some more insects as well, such as the ash borer that's come through, and that's been driven by some weather as well. So there's a lot of different factors that are going on that that we all have to play with now.
So how do you guys keep current on all this stuff? You go to school, you read a lot, you talk a lot, what?
A lot of talking. There's a landscape association here called Northwest Indiana Landscape Association. Me and Kevin are both involved with. We bring speakers in that teach us about these different things, educating each other. That's a big part of it.
A lot of emails.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned the association, so your mom will be happy now, right?
Yeah, she will.
And I'll be off the hook too.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so this is good. But now that's in Lake County?
Yeah.
Is there one in Porter County or LaPorte County?
We have now swallowed up a couple different areas, so
Okay.
we're not just Lake County. We started here, but I guess we as in the group, Southwest Michigan, Southern Chicago, we've got a couple companies from different spots.
So you're going to become the Northwest Indiana or something like that?
It could be.
Landscaping Association.
Well, that's what it
at some
is,
point?
Northwest Indiana Landscape Association, but we've got guys from other areas that are coming this
Yeah.
way and being involved in it, so.
So if there was one piece of advice you could give people right now about doing something different with their yards or anything, what would that one piece of advice to people?
Well, on my end of the construction industry part of it, if you're looking to hire a landscaper, do your homework. Check their references, make sure they've been around a long time, find out what their warranty is, go look at their work, do a little background check behind the guy. There's definitely companies out there that don't do it up to par, just like in every industry, so just be aware of what you're getting.
Are the bad ones usually listed like Better Business Bureau?
Not necessarily, no.
Just
I mean,
ask around.
You need
People
to
will
ask
tell
around.
you.
Just do your homework.
Okay.
Yeah, that's huge. That's a big deal. I think that our industry started out, it doesn't take much to start an industry. It's most construction trades are that way. So it's pretty easy for anybody to kind of get a lawnmower and kick it off.
Got to have a paintbrush or a hammer or something, but in your case, a lawnmower, right?
So the homework is huge. You can go online, you can research things. I'm not sure if the Better Business Bureau is the best way anymore, but there's definitely ways to go about researching it and feeling out different companies. Stop at some of the big nurseries around and ask them.
So we're almost down to the end here, but is it worth it being in business on your own?
Some days.
Some days, yes. And some days it's just like any headache, I suppose. I enjoy it. I do love our industry. I'd like to test it in other areas in the country. I think there's other locations now that I'd like to go and look at.
Is that expansion or moving?
Probably expansion.
Okay,
I wouldn't go
good.
anywhere.
You better not move away.
Yeah, not go anywhere.
How about you?
I enjoy it. I love the daily struggle of battling through the trenches and making a buck, keeping the employees busy. I like our industry. This is why I'm here.
And you hope sometimes it's $2?
Sometimes I hope it's $2. That's right. Some days it's only a quarter. So it just depends. You never know.
And sometimes it feels like it's just a quarter full.
Right. Right. Some days it's good just not to lose money that day.
Well, thanks for both of you coming today and
Thank you for having
being
us.
on the
Thank
show.
you.
And I'm glad you kind of wore your daily uniform so people can see. They'll know what you really look like when you show up, right?
Sure.
That's true. Yes, sir.
So this is good. Thanks again for
Thank
being
you.
here.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks for watching Lakeshore Focus. We're trying a few new things and wonder what you think. How do you like our new table? Did you notice? We are also trying to change some things on the set. One of the changes is to put some new and interesting items on our shelves. If you have something that you think would adorn our setting, we would gladly take it as a donation. You could provide something to replace, say, our eagles or the lunchbox on the shelf. We do reserve the right to decide if it's appropriate, but I like mixing it up a little. Maybe you have an interesting sculpture or something that represents our region. This is your public television station, so it should have a little of you in it. Drop an email letting us know what you have and we can respond. Our email address is on the screen. Write it down or memorize it. It's simple. focus@lakeshorepublicmedia.org. I also want to continue to remind you that anyone can watch Lakeshore Focus from our website. Each week after the broadcast on Friday evening at 7:30, we post the show. You know that it's difficult with your busy lives to always be available on Friday evenings. Some of you are out partying, watching the grandkids, attending a local sporting event, or dining at your favorite restaurant. At your leisure, you can go to our website, click on Lakeshore Public Television, scroll down to the picture of this face, click on me again, and you will see a list of all of the past episodes since last August. Tell your friends, neighbors, relatives, and co-workers about the opportunity to watch previous focus shows. Help us out and spread the word. We need more people to know about what is happening in our region and be well-informed members of our communities. Next week, we will have Ty Warner, the Executive Director of the Northwestern Indiana Regional Planning Commission, on the show. He will be telling us about the idea of a livable community. Join us then. I'm Keith Kirkpatrick saying, make a positive difference in our world today.